Hey there, it's Trudy, One Grounded Angel, and this is a weekly angel card reading for the week starting the 22nd of November through to the 28th, 2021. That's a lot of twos, isn't it? So we'll start shuffling for Monday, the 22nd, and see what sort of messages the angels have to help us navigate what's going on for us, what we need to bring our attention to. Well, this is a very simple message, laughter. It doesn't get much more straightforward than that. It's really about just lightening it up a little bit. And I know if you're like me and you're an intense Scorpio or just an intense person anyway, regardless of your zodiac sign, you maybe don't find this super helpful. And that's because we're often so busy looking at what's going on underneath, which has its own merits, of course, that we can be a little bit, it can be harder for us to relax. So this is very much about lightening up, recognising the humour in the situation, maybe bringing a more light-hearted approach to a situation rather than a real intensity, I have to solve this, I have to figure it out. Very simple there. So doing something today that brings you joy, I guess you could translate that as something that makes you laugh. Tuesday's message is go forth fearlessly. Could also say that's quite a simple message here. Very much about being bold. I just keep getting drawn to this light that Archangel Michael in this image is holding. It feels really significant. I can't quite put my finger on why, but maybe it speaks to you. But certainly the fact that it's around the heart, I feel is important, the light around the heart. So I think courage often feels like something we do, something that comes from the guts. You know, you've got guts when you do something bold, but I think it actually comes from the heart. And the heart is a place where we trust and we have faith. So we also know, if we're coming at a situation from a heartfelt place, what we're really acting on is the ability to trust that things will be okay, the ability to trust ourselves, to trust the universe, to trust that we can be in flow with what's going on and be safe. So that's one way to maybe look at this version of courage. It isn't about just forgetting that fear exists and taking a leap forward. That can be helpful in certain situations, of course, but it's really more about recognizing that the fear exists, not trying to ignore it or avoid it, but recognizing it's there and deciding it, I think I can do this anyway. I think I can be okay, even though I'm scared. So the words here, which are quite lengthy, so I won't go through it, but it's talking about courage and confidence and moving in the direction of love, particularly around life purpose. So perhaps that may speak to some of you. Maybe it's more of a low-grade change that you're looking at today. Something needs to a bit of courage from you. Maybe it's something massive that you need to change, maybe your job or a relationship or something like that. Wednesday's card is softer again, exchanging gifts. Really, I love these images on this card so much. Exchanging gifts. I think the idea of giving and receiving is where my focus goes with a card like this. And the word exchange, that means it's kind of level and fair. So it's not about giving, to all and sundry, and even though there's, that's certainly got merit as well. It's about making sure there is an exchange going on. So I'm sharing my gifts with the world, and I'm interacting with people who are giving to me. So it's not always that cut and dried, of course, but looking at whether there is an imbalance. Am I giving to someone and not getting anything back? Why is that? Does that person remind me of a parent, and it's the interaction I had with a parent growing up? Does this person, have I put too much emphasis on what they think instead of trusting that my value comes from within, not from this other person or other people? Looking at that sort of thing as well. And I think sometimes the part that people struggle with is the receiving. Letting yourself receive good things. That's one of the best things you can do. When you do that, you're receiving love and you've got more to give. So instead of turning down people who offer to help you, or batting away their compliments, or just trying to handle it all by yourself, looking at where you can be exchanging love with someone else. You can receive what they're giving to you. Maybe you give something back, or maybe you don't. Maybe you give to someone else instead, and that's how it all gets passed on, of course. So really looking at that. The word gifts, I know there is a present depicted on this card, but I do wonder if the gifts is more about, the gifts in terms of what we offer in a less material form. So our skills, what is our life purpose, what we're offering the world in terms of how we're sharing our message to the world, all that life purpose type of stuff. That's something to reflect on. This is a very Christmassy image here. This is called Blessings for Thursday. I always love when there's flowers depicted on anything around blessings, because flowers are all about beauty. And so that could be the thing that you take away from this, recognizing the beauty in your life. How are you blessed? I know so often our brain is going to the what's missing, what needs to be fixed, what needs my attention. But and of course that's really important because it shows us where there's work to be done. But we still need to be taking time to celebrate what's great. In other words, gratitude. I know the hashtag blessed thing has been a bit of a, has been sort of thrown about very casually on social media now, but actually we are all blessed, and looking at that might be really helpful for you. It doesn't take away the fact that things are probably still hard. Maybe you can only think of one thing that's good in your life. Maybe the good thing is that the day is almost over and you get a chance to start again tomorrow. Maybe that could be it. But just recognising the beauty in what you have right now. And we must be careful of gratitude that we don't use it as a weapon to shame ourselves. Like an example, well, you've got no right to be upset about this situation because you're so blessed, you have this thing that no one else has, or you know, people in other countries don't have whatever it is you've got. So don't use it to shame yourself, just use it as I'm glad I have this. It does make my life better and I'm glad it's there. Speaking of which, Friday's card, shower of abundance. I think often I go to money when I'm talking about abundance, but because of that blessings card and the fact that in both illustrations there's a flow going from these angels' hands outward, it's like a stream, a constant stream, hence the word shower. And maybe that's worth thinking about, trusting that there's always going to be good things coming into our lives and trusting that we deserve it. I meet people sometimes who really struggle to believe that they do deserve good things, even though consciously they might know that. On some energetic level they struggle to accept good things, so it just doesn't feel like it's safe to reach out for that, because what if it's taken away, or what if someone finds out that I'm actually not good enough? That kind of imposter syndrome can go on there. So just trusting that there is enough, you do deserve it, and it's safe for you to accept it. You have enough good things. There's more good things coming. There's always going to be enough. This isn't the end of it for you. I know a lot of creative people often worry they're going to run out of good ideas. Like it's there's a quote on how many good ideas you get for your creative work, whether it's professional or personal work. That's not how it works. Creativity is a flow, because it is a tap, because you're tapping into a conversation with the divine. So I should touch on money for those of you who want to go down that path. This could be about trusting that you have enough. That doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be Scrooge McDuck diving into gold coins, but it does mean that if you are bringing to bear this fear that you are never going to have enough money, that's going to adversely impact the flow of abundance coming your way. Saturday's message is Shanti, associated with peace. Very beautiful message here. I'll read this to you. I bring you new tranquility and a smoother road ahead. So this could serve as some reassurance that things are going to be a bit more smooth for you. And frankly, with this eclipse energy, that's probably pretty welcome. Spoiler alert, we do have another eclipse coming next week. But I have confidence that this is really just letting us sort of, giving us permission to accept the peace and trust it. Sometimes people struggle with that because they worry that the disaster is just around the corner. That's a really exhausting way to live. I work with a lot of clients who are like that. They're certain that they're in constant vigilance against something going wrong or something terrible happening. So the energy healing work I do is about clearing that belief at a deep level so they can trust in the flow of life and know that if something bad does happen, they can deal with it then. They don't have to be constantly on guard against it. Often those situations have come up when someone's grown up in a volatile situation at home, whether that be low grade or through to quite serious chaotic situations. So this might be about the way you bring peace into your life. Are you causing or opposing peace, perhaps I could put it, actively by choosing to spend time with people who are constantly serving up drama? Maybe you are spending too much time with news or crime podcasts or something else that's constantly leaving you anxious, stirring up your energy, provoking your energy in an adverse way. Maybe you are blocking peace by not setting boundaries against people, allowing bad behaviour. You are blocking peace by prioritising productivity and neglecting your own rest and self-care. Those are going to block you from having peace. And no one else can make that happen but you. The universe helps, of course, but it's also up to you to largely be responsible for that. Sunday's card here, another one I can never say, Aracura, I'm going to go with. Anyway, the message is blossoming. So I talked about flowers before. Flowers are such a beautiful analogy for the way things grow, that blooming idea of how we bloom. We know when we plant something, it's not going to blossom straight away. It's going to take time. It needs a bit of nurturing, ongoing maintenance, pulling out the weeds, and maybe your growth is like that too. You're wanting to bloom right away, but it takes time. So keep doing the work towards that and trust that you will bloom. You just don't know when. So the message here is beautiful, actually. You are just getting started, so have patience with yourself and the process, very important that part, and do not give up. So a real, continuity message there about keep up with the work, keep going. You will get to that place of blooming. It might not look like what you want it to look like, and it certainly won't happen on your schedule, but don't give up. So we've got a few messages there about staying the course. I think that peace one ties into that, and trusting in the flow with the gratitude there as well. So interesting kind of combination here, but I think they're lovely messages. I always do, to be honest, even when they seem a little bit daunting. Thanks for being here with me. If you want to know more about the energy healing work that I do, my website is onegroundedangel.com, onegroundedangel.com. I'm on social media. Each card goes up on my Instagram feed, which is @onegroundedangel, @onegroundedangel. My Facebook page called One Grounded Angel as well, and that's where you can find out a lot more about what I do and interact with me there. Bear in mind, I do have limited time capability to help people outside of sessions, but I can certainly respond to general queries. If you're wanting something specific, best thing to do is to book a session with me, and there's lots of info on my website about how to go about that. All bookings are taken through my website only. Thanks for being here, everybody. I will be back next week to read for you again, and I'll be talking about that second eclipse, the solar eclipse this time. Thank you. Have a good week.